In the wait for Tears of the Kingdom, the official Nintendo accounts online have been posting various teaser pictures and promotional images occasionally to keep people thinking about the game. At first glance, many of these seem to just be screenshots from the trailers, and while the trailers are obviously the best place where we can get the most information about the upcoming game, these images may also hide a few details that we can gather if we look close enough. So I went through and looked at them in a bit more detail to see what secrets they may be hiding. One of the first pictures that Nintendo posted was of the seemingly destroyed Master Sword, which may not seem like new information, but this is actually the first time we were able to get a good look at it. The only time it was ever shown in a trailer was for the brief few seconds during the delay announcement last year. Besides realizing it's broken though, there isn't much else that we can gather here. I did make an entire video on what I think the Master Sword's purpose will be in Tears of the Kingdom though, if you're curious, so check that out. In Nintendo's next tweet, we see Nintendo hinting that, obviously, Link will have new abilities that we will have to learn how to use in order to stop the malevolent forces that threaten Hyrule this time around. The picture is a great depiction of Link with his hair down wearing the beige and green tunic shown occasionally in the trailers, along with his damaged arm and some tattoos. Overall though, there isn't too much else we can gather from this picture, besides that it looks like Link is able to wield the broken Master Sword, showing that it isn't useless in his quest. His new powers, based around his arm, may have something to do with wielding it. The next two pictures are also of Link, but this time he's a bit more familiar than the last one. He's back in his champion's tunic, albeit with a cape and some other additional armoring, not to mention that the Master Sword seems to be properly back in its sheath, showing that maybe he's repaired it. In the picture where Link is crouched, we can see a few vials of this reoccurring green energy or something similar hanging off of his side. While we don't know their specific use in this game yet, it's possible they will be used to power up Link's new arm abilities, so to say. I say this because in the next picture, where we can see Link unleashing his new abilities through his arm, the green vials seem to be gone from his side, while his arm is glowing the same green that the vials were. It's possible these vials will simply replenish with time, or maybe they can be refilled somehow, like at the spirals of the green energy that we have seen multiple times in the trailers. The next picture shows Link on horseback riding past Hyrule Castle. There are actually a few things to notice in this picture. So first of all, it looks like the horse Link is riding on is carrying a few bags, rolls, and other pouches of some sort. This could just be decorative, or it could hint that we may be able to store items on our horse. Similar to the very first teaser we ever got for the sequel to Breath of the Wild, where it showed a large ox-style animal with similar pouches. We can also see some castle-like architecture to the very right, which could just be the outskirts of Castletown, but it is hard to tell from this angle alone. Otherwise, another one of the new towers can be seen in the background. It seems that they will play a very similar role to the Sheikah towers that were present in Breath of the Wild. Lastly, in the background of this picture, we can see a large spiral of clouds, with wider, darker clouds on the bottom and lighter, thinner clouds above. This is likely a sky island or series of islands that Link is unable to get to right away, most likely needing to figure out a way to get rid of or pass through the clouds. It's possible that this is the same clouded island shown briefly in other trailers too, but it's hard to say. Next, Nintendo really wanted to give us some content with these images. Simply captioned, "The skies of Hyrule await," we can see Link around the floating islands in all three pictures. While this first one may just seem like a screenshot from one of the trailers, there are a few things to notice. First of all, we can see the green vials on Link's side again. Otherwise, we get a pretty good look at this same set of islands that Nintendo seems to keep showing us. So much so that I made an entire video about how I figure that this may be Tears of the Kingdom's new Great Plateau / tutorial area. Feel free to check that out if you want. Otherwise, we can see the large central building in detail, but not enough to really tell what its use will be. There really isn't much we can see here besides a bunch of islands covered in trees, but there do seem to be various man-made objects, and even what looks like a wooden house. Lastly, we also get a small glimpse of a giant tail. If we look at the next picture, we can actually see this entire dragon. It looks like it could be Naydra making a reappearance, or it could be an entirely new dragon. Nonetheless, it seems that it may fly around the Sky Islands or even this specific set of islands, almost like it's guarding them. Otherwise, in this picture, we can see the large building from a much better angle, along with a number of small ruin-like structures made of similar materials. One almost looks like a spring like those from Breath of the Wild surrounded in water in the lower corner, Whether simply architecture or something more important, it's hard to tell though. In the third picture of this trio, we see Link standing on an island looking out towards the Gerudo Desert with islands all over the sky. The cluster in the top left is likely the set of islands that we were looking at in the past two images, as the large building can be seen. I still think that this could be very likely where Link starts his journey in Tears of the Kingdom, and it is undoubtedly the set of islands that we know the most about. Otherwise, we can see islands of all various shapes and sizes across Hyrule, some with flat tops, some covered in trees, some square-shaped, and even one that is circular with lines going in 4 directions. It really seems that the skies above Hyrule will be just as filled with adventure and new discoveries as Hyrule itself was back in 2017 when Breath of the Wild first came out. The latest set of images that Nintendo uploaded are once again screenshots from clips that were in the trailer, but they still hold interesting details. In the first picture, we can see this new ore style. It's hard to tell if this is something that Link will actually be able to mine or if this is just part of the world. Below it though appears to be a fan or wheel for some sort of vehicle that Link will seemingly be able to build in this game. Other than that, we can see some more enemy encampments below and another one of the new towers. In the next picture, we see Link shooting one of the new flying enemies with a tracking arrow. Besides the landscape being littered with fallen debris, there isn't much to see besides that Link's hand is glowing almost blue. It might be tied to the seeking arrow, but otherwise it's anyone's guess. Next, we get a much clearer shot of Link battling the enemy made of a bunch of boxes held together through the green energy. We can see islands of various shapes in the background, but can't really gather much else new. It does look very pretty though. Lastly, we can see Link on his horse again, with Hyrule Field covered in debris here too, along with many sets of islands in the sky, pools of malice, 2 towers in the background, and definitely more. We have now seen many of these islands from a few different angles, allowing us to know roughly where they stand above Hyrule, but still not at all what may be contained on or within them. There were some promotional images that Nintendo posted that I did not include here, but I feel as if I covered any details that couldn't necessarily be gathered from the trailers or at a quick glance. Nonetheless, I really appreciate you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and feel free to let me know your thoughts about what you think will be coming up in Tears of the Kingdom this May. As always, please hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and until next time, I'm Zelda, and thank you for watching.